biographies of these amazing men and women of faith. They all, they all use their gifts from God to help those in need. We hope you are inspired to learn more about these and other Black saints. The Knights, the Knights of St. Peter Claver are escorting our youth in honor of our icons. Please enjoy.
Venerable Arnett DeLeo. Born in 1812, Arnett DeLeo was a free woman of color and lived her life in New Orleans, Louisiana. When Arnett was 24 years old, she underwent a religious experience. On the flyleaf of a book covered on the Eucharist is a profession of love in her own handwriting. I believe in God, I hope in God, I love, and I want to live and die for God. In 1836, Arnett drew up the rules and regulations for devout Christian women, which later became the Society of the Holy Family, founded for the purpose of nursing the sick, caring for the poor, and instructing the ignorant. They took into their home elderly women, which became America's first Catholic home for the elderly. Arnett devoted herself untiringly for many years, without reserve, to a religious instruction of the people of New Orleans, principally of slaves. Venerable Arnett DeLeo is the first United States native-born African American whose cause for canonization that was officially opened by the Catholic Church.
Josephine Bakita was born in Sudan. She was kidnapped and sold in slave markets. She experienced physical and moral humiliations and suffering. She was brought by an Italian family who treated her with love and respect, not less as she had been by the people before. She experienced peace, warmth, and moments of joy, though she still missed her family. When her family was forced to leave Italy, Josephine joined convent, and it was in their convent that she to know about God, whom she said she had experienced in her heart without knowing who he was. Since she was a child, she said, seeing the sun, the moon, and the stars, she knew that there was a master of beautiful things and desired to know God better and pay God homage. She was baptized and given the name Josephine. Her humility and constant smile won the hearts of all citizens. As she grew older, she experienced long, painful years of sickness. Her last words were, Our Lady, Mother Bakita, died on February 8, 1947. There is a convent. The fame of sincerity spread through the continents. She was canonized in October of 2000.
Saint Martin de Porres. Saint Martin de Porres was born in Martin de Porres Velasquez on December 9, 1579, in Lima, Peru, to a Spanish gentleman and freed slave. Martin was abandoned as a child and spent his life being ridiculed for being mixed race. He was praised for unconditional care for people regardless of race or wealth. He took care of everyone in the Spanish nobles and to the African slaves. Martin didn't care if the person was diseased or dirty. He would welcome them into his own home. He was noted for work on the behalf of the poor, establishing an orphanage child hospital. He maintained a sober lifestyle, which includes fasting and abstaining from meat. Among many miracles attributed to him were the levitation, miraculous knowledge, entertainments, cures, and abilities to communicate with animals. When caring for those in need hospital, according as saying, compassion, my dear brother, prefer to cleanness, forgive my error, please instruct me for what I did, precept my obedience, and took precedence over that of charity. Martin de Porres was laid out on the brother of Dominic order. He was beatified on 1837 by Pope Gregory XVI and canonized in 1962 by Pope John XXIII. He is a patron saint of mixed-race people, barbers, innkeepers, public health workers, and all those seeking racial harmony. His feast day is on November 3rd.
Martin Luther King, Jr. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was born into a family of pastors of the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta. Martin Luther attended segregated public schools in the state of Georgia. In 1955, he accepted the leadership of the Montgomery bus boycott that led Dr. King being a leader of the civil rights movement. Dr. King was president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. He gave hundreds of speeches, and he also wrote five books and numerous articles. He led a famous protest in Birmingham, Alabama, inspiring his letter from a Birmingham jail. He planned voter registration drives throughout the South and peaceful march on Washington, D.C., where he delivered his I Have a Dream address. Dr. King was arrested more than 20 times and assaulted at least 4 times. He was awarded 5 honorary degrees and was named Man of the Year by Time magazine in 1963. At 35, Martin Luther King Jr. was the youngest man to have received the Nobel Peace Prize. He donated the prize money of $54,123 to the furtherance of the civil rights movement. Standing on his Christian principles and his teaching of Gandhi, Dr. King was always a peaceful man. However, his home was bombed with his wife and children inside, and he ultimately died by assassination.
Sister Bowman was born in Yazoo, Mississippi. She was born Methodist but became a Catholic when she was 9 years old. She went to college and became the first African American to join their Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration. She taught school for 16 years. She was invited to be a special consultant for the Catholic Church and went about our country giving presentations to bridge racial and cultural division. She sang, told stories, preached, and prayed. Though she developed bone cancer in 1984, she continued to fight the evil that drives people apart. In 1989, only a year before she died, the U.S. bishops invited Sister Thea Bowman to be a key speaker at their conference on Black Catholics. In her prophetic call for the members of the church to be fully functioning, holistic, and spirit-filled, Sister Thea is a pioneer of what would later emerge as the evangelical movement of the Catholic Church. She died in 1990, only 53 years old. She followed her rule to live until I die, to live fully, and that she did. The senior housing apartments St. Columba has across the street are named after Sister Thea Bowman.
Augustus Tolton's mother was an escaped slave. She ran with her 2 little children and a baby in her arms. The journey included a harried rowboat ride while ducking gunshots. They finally walked into Quincy, Illinois, where former slaves were offered safety and access to a station of the Underground Railroad. Augustus was an infant slave who was baptized Catholic. At only 17 years old, Augustus entered the seminary in Rome, Italy, because no United States seminaries would accept him. In 1886, he was ordained a priest in Rome and offered his first Mass in St. Peter's Basilica. He was then sent back to the United States. He was a remarkable pastor of the Black Catholics in Chicago, Archdiocese, for 11 years. He died at age 43 of a heat stroke. His death was mourned by thousands. In 1889, in a speech to the First Black Catholic Congress in Washington, D.C., he gave his view of the church. The Catholic Church deplores a double slavery, that of mind and body. She endeavors to free us both. I was a poor slave boy, but the priests of the church did not disdain me. I was through the influence of one of them that I became what I am tonight. I finally admitted to the College de Propaganda Fide and found out that I was not the only black man there. There were students from Africa, China, Japan, and other parts of the world. The church knows and makes no distinction in race and color, has called them all. When the church does all of this, is she not a true liberator of the race? In this church, we do not have to fight for our rights because we are black. This church is broad and liberal. She is the church of our people.